A very beautiful day. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? It's a very beautiful Sunday. So we are just waiting to see how the market is really going to be opening. This is on Sunday. This is on Sunday 15. So we have some few hours. Let's say around 4 hours. 4 hour time. The market will be open. The market will be open. And there are a lot of speculations. There are a lot of things that we're really going to check here, which might trigger the market actually opening with a very big gap. That is one of the things that we're really going to be checking out. If you're enjoying this, ensure that you like, and let me just know who is here. So if you are around, make sure that you like, make sure that you let's engage on the chat. Let me know what you want us to check right now before after checking what I want us to check. There is what information I really want to lay out even before we just move to the questions. I'm waiting for more people to join, so ensure that if you're here, you like and make sure that at least you leave a comment on the chat. All right, that is really going to be so much interesting. Ensure that you like. This is really going to be so much important. Now, we are going to proceed on this as we wait for more people to join. I know 8 p.m., 7:38. Some people have not arrived home, but at least we can continue doing this. Maybe I'm going to benefit because I'm leaving this video here. Now, over the weekend, a lot of things has been happening. I may remove. I really don't like. I don't like ants. So over the weekend, the market has actually been moving, like a lot of things that are really happening. But right now, the most important thing that you really have to check is one thing here, which is the oil prices and the impact it's going to bring to the US dollar. If there's anything that you shouldn't check is that one, and I think that is the most fundamental thing that we should check on what has actually been happening. And I think there are a lot of manipulations that has been happening throughout the weekend, and that is what we should look at. Number one, if you look at the headline from the investing.com, this is what you see. What are they saying here? So these guys are saying Trump reject the Iran deals offers and threaten further strike on the energy asset. If this is really going to continue, of course, we expect the oil prices to keep rising. And the more the oil prices keep rising, the more the inflation comes in, the more stocks start falling, the more we get the US dollar at least strengthening and crazy things happening in the market, right? So this is what you are really getting here. So, but I think I'm not really, sometimes when you're reading this headline, sometimes you wonder, when do they get this information from? Because I think I have followed the Trump on every post he has posted, and I don't think there is information where he sent about this straight like this one. Yeah, it's only that he said that they have actually overwhelmed the Iran military, and of course they need to surrender like other countries can get in to open the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, there are some areas. So there are a lot of things that I want us to check on here because this is really important, a very critical information that you really should check. So where is going to be the most fundamental things that you should check here on why it is going to be heading. And then after that, we'll check on the dollar and then gold, where the prices of gold might be ending next week. That is in the next actually for some few hours coming up. So ensure that you like this, ensure that let's engage on the chat. That is really going to be very important. And actually we're going to be around here every single Sunday. Every Sunday we're going to be here before the market opens, not only when we have the breaking news that is just be coming up. So the reason we've been observing the weekend mostly is because it has been very critical, because you can see every weekend has created a gap. Every weekend that we've been having, this was the first gap. Then we got all this week, Then look at this gap. This gap was actually created another the week. So with these 2 weeks that has actually been happening in the market, where the market moved from 67 open to 74, moved slightly back for the correction for the people who are taking money from their trend. And after that, the other week was actually here. That it was last week. The market closed at 89, and then the market just opened around 99, and the prices went crazy all the way to 115, almost 120. So that's why the weekend matters in this scenario. Like, you need to know where the market is really going to be ending to, because this is really important. But one of the information that we really have to know, and we need to listen to this information very carefully, is the prices of oil, how they are actually doing. Because you can see as well, the reason we are talking about the oil prices, because it's affecting the gold, the dollar as well. And you can see the DXY is trending around 100.5. That is the trend that we have been getting. And the reason we are getting this is because there is a lot of prediction that there is possibilities for the Fed now to twist from being dovish to being now hawkish. That means that they need to stay hawkish to at least control the prices of inflation. Remember, this is not about the strength of the dollar. Fed does not even control the prices of the dollar. Fed normally controls the economy, and that is not the work of the Fed. So the work of the Fed is actually to control the inflation that is happening. So that's why you see the dollar is really gaining on this, because it's a global currency, but the inflation is actually going to hit the US. It's not the matters of money, but actually matters of the commodities that they are going to be buying from their countries, and that is actually because of the effect of oil that you are really getting from this market. Now I want us to look at this, because if you look on the last week, the lowest time frame, or let's start even with the lowest time frame, the technical sign, you observe that there are so many people who are buying this market all the way from the downside here, which is 95, all the way from this level here. Actually, I remember us buying from 76, because that is what retracement that we saw, and you can see that is where we have so many orders. You can see 273 million. That is where we have the POC. This is where we got so many orders, and that's why you can see there's absolutely the market is spiking from this zone that we are from this market around this area here. We got the prices of oil kicking up and moving all the way straight to this point. But it's actually been very amazing, because let's mark these areas because it's very important. Number one, we mark this here, okay, and number two, I want us to mark all these zones. It really matters. I want us to mark around, I want us to mark this area here, okay. I want us to mark here. I want us to mark this zone here. This is possible. Now on the top, we need to mark this zone here. So this is a level of around 100, let's say around 199, around this level that we have here. That is how now the market is moving. If you look at the prices of oil, it is creating another highs after achieving this. So this movement is actually the correction that we got last week. You remember when the market fell all the way down to this place here. This is actually we got this move. You need to understand why, because this happened when the Trump came online and said that the war is absolutely going to end soon, and this meant the prices actually to move all the way down to this level here, which is 76. But of course the trend hasn't realized the truth that the market is not really going to come down just like that. Number one, I posted a video where I told some people we need actually the reason on this. If you're a professional trader, of course, you know there are some things I just mentioned in that video that might sound, but it's actually part of reason. Number one, this market was moving down, but of course the Iran has not agreed to open the Strait of Hamas. So of course, after the market moved down, that you see now the prices is spiking up again. And of course, even if the Strait of Hormuz opens up, of course we need time. The market is going to take time before the supply kicks into the market. It's really going to take time before the price kicks in and the market resumes from what the original prices. So that is what we are getting from this market. Now, what are we going to be having next week? The headline that we are receiving now is this, that the Trump promises to strike more of energy asset in Iran, right? But we need to understand one thing: the Iran power is really coming down. Like, they are getting overwhelmed by whatever is just happening to the market. That means anytime we are going to see at the top of this, and of course this war has to come to an end. I know people are preparing for a long-term war that is really going to happen, but I know Trump himself and the US cannot sustain this war for long. It's not just because of Iran and the fight and maybe the resources. It's just because if they keep doing this, of course, the inflation is going to hit them. So the Iran is taking the leverage from the street of a mouse, and I think that is what they are going to continue doing. They are going to continue holding that and keeping people away from the street of a mouse. I think that is the only leverage that I really have in this case. So, and you see now the Trump is urging other nations that are benefiting from oil prices in this route of the street of a mouse. Is asking them, let's come together and send the warship so that they can help us now to transit the oil prices to the street of a mouse. And that is what the Trump is saying, that the world may pass through that. So you see, over the weekend we got a mixed reactions on that. And you also know that there is a strait, or there is another port that US claimed to have bombed for the oil depot in the Iran, but later Iran came up and said, this is a wrong information that we are giving. All our everything is actually running perfectly. Let me just read that headline so that you get it clearly. So the headline says, the state media in Iran says, Iranian officials says all exports from Kag Highland are fully underway after US strikes. So this is one of the information that was absolutely went to move the market so hard, but you can see the headline as really let me type this. The oil export in let's try that headline. Yeah, so you can see this headline: US attacks military site on the Iran Kag Island own fast oil facility. So actually this is the main, like when this island is attacked, I think you have finished Iran. But later they came saying, you know what, everything is operational and everything is really going on well. So I think that was just maybe a propaganda from the US to try and cripple the Iran, but that is what really happened. But of course, next week, because of the crisis continues, we expect at least the oil prices not to jump so hard, because you can see there are already some people who are starting putting the sell Hondas around this area here. So if the oil price is not going to create a gap over the weekend, I expect a retracement over this, and maybe this war to come at least a resolution from there. So you expect something like that, and this is why I expect at least a retracement to happen. So you see at the top here where we have at least 99, I'm using this broker here, which is CXM. So maybe you are going to see in different prices on the broker that you are trading with. So you see this price here. Let me mark it so that tomorrow we are going to just review it. So 99 here, I'm going to sell around this area unless there's gap, and then I'm going to put my TP around this area here. My stop loss actually might be around here, yeah, around that area here, and then I'm going to focus all the way down to that place. So that is going to be, you can see now the date we are around, it's already 7:51. That is what I expect from this market coming tomorrow. This is the US oil. Of course, I expect mixed reaction from this after the weekend. Of course, we got a very big mixed reaction because Trump is really trying to manipulate the market to come down, the prices of oil to come down, and also the Iran are trying to do their things, like to scare the economy, and all those things are really happening. Yes, so let me just mark as the colors assigned. I've marked all the prices. Yeah, so that is 99.5, 90, and then 108. So that is where we're going to have. But make sure you wait for the prices first of all to open before you just do that. So that is the oil prices. Over the weekend we just got the prices for gold moving down like this. Remember, we have been observing gold on the highest time frame, that is on the daily time frame, to see what has actually been happening into this market. And we got this market coming to this level here, but know this, that we have been expecting at least these prices to stay, let's say at least like this. But you can see we end a breakout that happened to this market here. But do you know this can actually become one of the liquidity sweep that is happening, like market, like these ones that you see here. Of course, this can actually be the liquidity sweep that is really happening here. But of course, you can see we have a demand zone around this area here. So in case the market is not going to create a gap, you're going to see a reaction in this area here, the market jumping up and the prices really moving up at least to this level again. Remember, this is the daily time frame, so let me check on the lowest time frame, like 1 hour, so that you can just get it. That is what I'm talking about, this zone right here. And as well, you can see how the prices are really moving. So this is the simplest thing that you can actually observe from this market. Look at this, look at that, look at that. Of course, this is what we see. So from this area here, of course, we might be having a buy point here. Then we're going to focus first of all in this area here, and of course you might be getting breakout, and when this market moves, actually might move all the way down here, so around the entry here, which is slightly 5,000, then we can get that is 5,000 or 49.99. When the prices approaches this level, we might be getting this market buying all the way to the stop here. That is what we're getting from this level of the market. Of course, let me just check on those and where we have on this, and I'm going to check it from this level here. I'm running because we need to create some signals before the market opens. And when I move to see, let me see the delta signed. Yeah, of course you can see this area here, at least we have some people buying from this level here. So that is going to be the area I'm going to be targeting on, this zone here, as the market is going to reverse all the way to the top. So that is the price of these two, the oil prices, the gold prices. That is the move that I've been expecting to get. Last week we analyzed the USD JPY, which is this USD JPY. Where is it? And remember the zone that we talked about, 161 is the level I'm expecting. So the US oil prices might continue moving all the way to the top. That is what we are still going to be getting from this. It's just simple. We analyze differently. Maybe for those who missed our live, you need to go to our live sessions, and you're going to learn a lot from what you've been talking about. This level here of at least 160, at least the top here of at least 160 level, that is where I'm expecting this market to move, 160 level. So I don't want to check on that because there are a lot of things that we really talked about here, including the market overbought and the overbought sold areas on the highest time frame. So I expect still the strength for the dollar to keep moving. So if the dollar keep moving and I keep having this strength, we are going to have still this market moving all the way just like that. But when you see around 160 160.5, just know it's almost the time to start selling from that market, because that is what you're going to have a sell. But